Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. It's that time of the weekend, it's Premier League predictions time. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters are almost upon us this weekend as the Premier League enters its busy festive period of the season. The games are coming thick and fast, the table is beginning to take shape, and of course, another round of Premier League fixtures is almost upon us. But before we get into all the talk, analysis and predictions, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Use and abuse that comment section, people, with your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, your feelings, but most of all, of course, your predictions, because after all, where would a Premier League predictions video be without predictions? Let me know what you guys think about each and every single game and the outcome of each and every single game to come this weekend. Right, now that that's all done with, let's kick things off, shall we? And we're going to start with Saturday, 3 o'clock. There is no lunchtime kickoff again on a Saturday, but there is weirdly 2 7 p.m. games on Sunday. We'll get into that a little bit later. Anyway, first and foremost, we're at the Emirates. It's Arsenal taking on Everton. And as you can see, I've gone with a 2-0 scoreline to the Gunners. Now, Arsenal slipped up last week against Fulham. They had a massive opportunity after Liverpool dropped points against Newcastle to close the gap. And with obviously Liverpool not playing last weekend, it meant that there was a further potential advantage for Arsenal to take hold of. However, a slip up against Fulham, drawing 1-1 in that game means that that is a reality check for the Gunners in the fact that they can't take any game lightly or for granted. And this is another one of those games that you shouldn't take lightly or for granted either. Everton on their day can be so awkward to play against. Defensively, they can be well disciplined and solid, and attacking wise, you know, if there's certain danger men are in the mood and they're feeling it, they obviously can be a thorn in the side of anyone. Add to that, of course, Everton's game last week being postponed. They've had the extra rest. Arsenal are playing midweek in the Champions League. Everton have had a bit of a rest, so maybe that could factor into this game as well. That rest could be a welcome addition to Sean Dyche's side. But having said all of those things, you would fully expect Arsenal to win as they are the favourites here. They have their massive weapon that they have at their disposal in set pieces. And of course they have, with all due respect, the better players. And they should be winning this game and putting pressure on Liverpool, who will also be playing at the same time as them on Saturday afternoon. I've gone 2-0 to the Gunners. I think they have enough about them in the attacking third to score a couple of goals. And I think they have enough about them defensively to neutralise and stop Everton from doing too much harm to their backline and goalkeeper. But, as I said, nothing's ever a foregone conclusion. Moving on, Anfield awaits the arrival of Fulham as Liverpool take on Marco Silva's side. Liverpool obviously had a bit of a rest last weekend. They were in action midweek in the Champions League. They won 1-0 against Girona there. I would probably argue that that rest could actually benefit Liverpool in the long run. The unfortunate part about that is obviously Alexis McAllister's suspension carries over into this game, so he's going to be missing for this one. But Liverpool at home against Fulham should have the opportunity and the instinct to go and get 3 points in this one. By hook or by crook, by any means necessary, Liverpool should be winning this game. Fulham, as we know, very tough opposition. We know that they've had a very good start to their season. And yeah, I'm excited for this one. I very am excited for this one. A little bit nervous because obviously it's my team of Liverpool, but we should have the quality with the likes of, you know, Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you know, the form of the likes of Ryan Gravenberch and Luis Diaz as well. I think we should have enough about us to get the win in this one. Fulham will give as good as they've got. They're obviously very tough opposition. They drew to Arsenal last week, so we can't take this game for granted or take our eye off the ball here. We have to just keep on doing what we're doing, keep on playing our own game, and hopefully get the 3 points at the end of it. It's not going to be easy, but I would suspect Arne Slot's men will get another win under their belts. Moving on to St James's Park, and I've gone with a 2-2 draw between Newcastle and Leicester here. The favourites in this one are arguably Newcastle, but as we've known this season, motivating them for these kinds of opponents, the sort of relegation candidates, if you like, the sort of mid-table teams and the sort of teams that you would be expecting to be challenging in and around Newcastle, is obviously a bit of a problem and a challenge. Now, I was initially going to go with a Newcastle win, but I thought, why not throw a spanner in the works? Why not be a bit out there with my prediction on this one? Why not go for a 2-2? Because although Newcastle have the players to obviously win this game, Leicester have proven they're quite stubborn under their new manager and head coach of Ruud van Nistelrooy. So maybe a bit of the new manager bounce, maybe a bit of, I wouldn't say hope, but because I don't really have a horse in this race, but maybe a bit more of a make things interesting sort of hope in this one from my perspective. Look, Alexander Isak's going to be a big name player in this one. They've got some big name players right away across the pitch for Newcastle. But defensively, of course, they have got a few concerns. Midfield-wise, they're not fully stable in certain games. And like I say, finding motivation to get up for these kinds of games is obviously going to be tough for Newcastle, as we've seen time and time again this season. I would be leaning more towards a Newcastle win, but I'm going to go for a draw. I think the Foxes can sneak something in this one. Moving on, Wolverhampton Wanderers take on Ipswich. Under fire manager Gary O'Neill is praying and hoping for a win in this one. He'll have VAR and the referees as partly to blame for his side's defeat at the hands of West Ham on Monday night, with them not awarding what was, in my opinion, a stonewall penalty to Wolves in that one that could have easily rescued a point for Gary O'Neill's side. But they move on. He's still going to be in charge for this one, it seems, barring any major sort of U-turn. And they have got Kieran McKenna's Ipswich Town to focus on in this one. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. I feel like Ipswich can get something in this game. Again, the home side, using that home advantage, probably have the impetus as well, the bit between their teeth to obviously get a win in this one after what happened on Monday night, and with obviously their manager being a little bit under fire. Bit of an understatement that, but you get what I mean. I would say that Wolves are probably the favourites, but I just feel that with the way Ipswich are playing right now, they're so awkward to play against at times. I feel like if Ipswich can stay in the game for long enough, they can probably steal something from this. So I've gone 1-1, but I'm not entirely confident, and I would probably suspect Wolves may get the victory. But I'm sticking with my original prediction on this game. Another 1-1 draw I've gone for here at the City Ground for the Saturday evening encounter that will see Nottingham Forest play host to Aston Villa, and I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Now, similarly to Newcastle, it's been these kinds of games that Aston Villa have slipped up on this season. Not so much the level of opposition, but more so the fact that they go from the highest of highs in the Champions League to then coming down against a team in the Premier League which doesn't have the same sort of, with all due respect, aura or same level of special occasion, shall we say. Aston Villa have struggled this season coming off the back of Champions League games midweek, and I'm going to guess that may continue. We saw Nottingham Forest beat Manchester United last week by 3-2. They've had a very good season so far. Have Nuno Espirito Santo's side. They've proven to be very stubborn and very solid defensively, whilst in the midfield they're very combative. And up front, they can be quite lethal. Up front. Chris Wood is enjoying a incredible scoring season. How the hell Chris Wood has managed to get the amount of goals he has is absolutely incredible. How he's become one of the more prolific strikers in the Premier League is absolutely phenomenal. But there is the reality of the situation. I've gone for us to get something in this game. Home advantage could maybe sway things in their favour. The quality of opposition could sway things in the opposite direction, with Unai Emery's side maybe getting a win. I decided to call it down the middle. I've gone 1-1, and I feel like Villa's come down from the Champions League midweek may help Forest get something in this one. So 1-1 is the final outcome, but again, I'm not entirely confident by this scoreline. Next up, we're moving on to Sunday's games, and first up, it is a clash between the Seagulls and the Eagles as Brighton and Hove Albion take on Crystal Palace, and I've gone with a 2-1 win to Brighton. Now, Brighton haven't exactly had the best of times in recent games, But I feel like they could get back to winning ways here. It's a favourable game for them. Palace have been very hit and miss, very up and down this season. And I just feel like the Seagulls, with the quality of players that they have, the maybe extra work they put in the training ground over the course of this, by their standards, poor spell. They've had a very good start to the season. It's just kind of tailed off in recent weeks. I feel like the Seagulls will get back to winning ways here. A draw could certainly be on the cards. We obviously know what happened last time Brighton played. They dropped a 2-goal lead very, very late on against Leicester. I'm going with Brighton to win, but again, I'm just saying that they're going to break their form. I'm not saying that it's going to be anything spectacular or magical. I'm just saying they're going to break their form. So I've gone 2-1 to Brighton, the Seagulls to get all 3 points when these two teams clash on Sunday. Next up, Stamford Bridge awaits the game of Chelsea against Brentford, and I've gone with a 3-1 win to Chelsea. Now, Brentford, as we know, can be very tough on their day. We know that if their players are in the mood for it, we know that they can be a thorn in the side of anyone, especially the bigger teams of the league. And they don't come much bigger than Chelsea, who are flying high right now. They managed to put some distance between themselves and Arsenal. They are solidified in second place right now. Things are looking up, exciting and optimistic for the Blues, their fans, their players, manager, coaches and board and people in power. Having said that, Brentford's record against Chelsea since they come up to the Premier League has been nothing short of brilliant. I don't think Chelsea have actually beaten Brentford since the Bees were promoted from the Championship. So that could be a lucky omen for Brentford, but like certain things, all the good things must come to an end. And I feel like with the way that Chelsea are playing right now, I feel like with the tactical nuance and analysis of Enzo Maresca, with obviously the way that Cole Palmer is just seemingly brushing off everything and is just ice cold running through his veins right now, the way that Chelsea's attack are scoring goals, the way that Chelsea's midfield are controlling games, I don't see a reason as to why Chelsea don't give up this good run of form they're on right now and don't obviously maintain second place and maybe even put a bit of pressure on Liverpool. Defensively, there are still some question marks, and I feel like there are areas there that Brentford could certainly exploit. There's no doubt about it. But I just see Chelsea's attack and midfield outweighing their defensive frailties, and that's why I see Chelsea winning this game and getting a few goals to boot as well. They are the highest goal scorers in the league so far this season. I think they'll add a few more to their total this weekend. Moving on to the St. Mary's, we're going to jump ahead to St. Mary's. One of the 7 o'clock games, I believe, on Sunday. Why? I have absolutely no idea. But that's where we are right now. 7 o'clock on a Sunday. We'll see Southampton take on Tottenham Hotspur. And I've gone with a 2-1 win. A 2-1 win to Spurs. Now, this is something I have absolutely no idea in, because yes, Tottenham are the favourites. Yes, Tottenham should be winning, but Jesus Christ, I've given up predicting Tottenham games, especially when they are the heavy favourites, because Tottenham normally bottle it when they are the favourites. They beat the likes of Man United, they beat the likes of Manchester City. They lose to the likes of Ipswich, Wolves, Bournemouth, and so on and so forth. And of course, their fans will want a response to their humiliating and embarrassing defeat to Chelsea last week. But it's safe to say that not even a lot of their fans are predicting a win against Southampton. I feel like with Ange's tactics, his intensity, his high press, I feel like if Southampton don't switch up their game, Spurs will have a field day and they will get plenty of opportunities, plenty of chances. It's just about whether they take them or not. I feel like Southampton's way of trying to play out from the back will be their ultimate downfall. I, on some level, admire the way that they're sticking to their principles, sticking to their guns, but at the same time, they need to learn to switch it up and when to switch it up, because at the moment, it's costing them big points in the Premier League and in certain games. I just feel like if they don't switch it up in this game, which they potentially can, by the way, and if they do, they may actually stand more of a chance of winning. Tottenham could have a field day here, and Tottenham could actually win this one. Spurs fans may not exactly be that confident, but I would certainly give Ange Postecoglou's side the win in this one. I'm going 2-1 to Spurs, but it could be more, unless, of course, Southampton switch up their overall play. Stop playing out from the back, go a bit more long ball, exploit some of the weaknesses in that Tottenham backline, especially with Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven both missing through injury. Monday night's game, we'll see Bournemouth take on West Ham, another Monday night encounter for West Ham. And I've gone 2-2. West Ham are another weird one. The pressure is on Julian Lopetegui. Maybe the win against Wolves on Monday night may have actually eased that pressure slightly. But they're still not the best of outfits. They're still very fragile defensively. They are still not entirely convincing in the midfield or in the attacking third. Bournemouth, on the other hand, very good with their overall play. Sometimes it's about taking their opportunities, and they just sometimes don't do that. And sometimes they do slip up on a few banana skins, as we've seen so far this season. This is, I fear for them, another potential banana skin that they could slip up on. Bournemouth, in my opinion, should be winning this one. The home crowd advantage. They should be actually winning this one pretty comfortably, in my opinion. But I just see West Ham getting something from this. I just do. I don't know what it is. I just think this is another potential banana skin for Bournemouth. I feel like this could be something that West Ham could take advantage of. And, you know, maybe the win on Monday night against Wolves may obviously help their momentum and maybe get something else from this game. If I had to go with a winner, I'm going Bournemouth. But for some reason, I just see West Ham getting something from this. And, you know, that could obviously backfire come Monday night. But we shall wait and see. And of course, in the biggest game of this round of fixtures, guess what? I've gone with another draw. How many draws is that? That is quite a fair few draws I've gone for this weekend. I really can't separate sides. Manchester City 1, Man United 1. That is what I've gone for in arguably the biggest game and the main event of this entire weekend. A Manchester derby awaits at the Etihad Stadium. The blue corner will see Pep Guardiola's Manchester City take on the red corner, which will have Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. And I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Now, originally, I was going to go 3-1 Manchester United. And the reason for that is the amount of times that I've seen Erling Haaland and Phil Foden turn up for these games is incredible. And I do feel like on some sort of level, they could turn up again this weekend. This would typically be the one game for a lot of United fans in which City's big name players actually turn up for this season. However, what I have seen from United in the past few games is a United side that structurally are looking better. Out of possession, they're looking better. They're just looking a much more capable side with the resources that they have. Now, it's not perfect, of course. They are making quite a few individual defensive errors. We saw Onana's horrific goalkeeping last week. We saw Lisandro Martinez for the third Forest goal make an absolute howler of a mistake. So it's not perfect. There are individual errors there, but there's no doubt about it that the structure for me is looking better for United. And I feel like they could really frustrate Manchester City, because this is probably the first derby in a long, long time in which, yes, City are the favourites. Yes, City are, of course, at home. But it's the first derby in a long, long time, I think, in which it's not as easy to call. And there is more pressure on Manchester City to win than there is Manchester United. I feel like with obviously the new manager situation, I feel like there's more pressure on Pep Guardiola's side to win this one than there is for United. And that could play into the hands, because like I've said before, those Manchester City players look a shadow of their former self. Those Manchester City players look nervous, scared, second-guessing themselves. They don't look the same confident, competent Manchester City side that we have seen in years gone by. So I feel like United could take full advantage of that, and I feel like United could certainly pose some food for thought and maybe even get something from this game. We know that Marcus Rashford normally scores in these types of encounters, so if he is going to start, maybe, just maybe, Rashford will get on the score sheet this weekend. Erling Haaland and Phil Foden, like I said before, we know that they normally turn up for Manchester City, so it'd be, it would be nice if they actually turned up for once this season. Not necessarily Haaland, but more Foden. So this one's going to be very interesting and a very intriguing Manchester derby that awaits us on Sunday. I think it'll be 1-1. I would be leaning more towards the home side, giving them the advantage, because obviously I feel like they have the better players, they have the better manager, that kind of thing, yada, yada, yada. But I just feel like United, if they're set up structurally, they can really frustrate this Manchester City side, and I feel like there can be a lot of positives to take from this game from United come the final whistle. So that is what I have gone for there. And that about wraps it up for this Premier League predictions video. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, but most of all predictions of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of each and every single game to come up this weekend in another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters? Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That will make for great interest in reading, I'm sure, down below in that comment section. So please do use and abuse that comment section with your predictions, people. Where would a predictions video be without predictions? That is my question to you. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up. Enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video. Thank you all for your continued or even brand new support. It's very much appreciated to the channel and myself. Thank you all so much. You guys are awesome. Very much appreciated. And I'll see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Speak to you again very, very soon.